Hey guys, it's been a while since I've done a drawn and talkin' video. This is just about how much I love Digital Circus and Sonic, so if you want, you can just mute the video and watch the drawn, but I'm assuming some of you want to hear the yappin', so here I go. I was introduced to Digital Circus by my boyfriend, Imposter835, but I don't exactly remember when it was. It was definitely before episode 3 came out, though it might have been before we even started dating. It was like a whole year ago, I think. He introduced me to a lot of other shows, including Murder Drones, My Hero, but I can't get enough of this show. I like all of the characters. They each have their own issues and problems and things that make them stand out from each other. It's a funny show too, with some humor. It was one of those shows I originally wasn't gonna watch because of the mass amount of brain rot that came out of it. In fact, I even thought at one point it was one of those kids shows because of it. I was very wrong though, and kids shouldn't be watching it at all. But yeah, you can see the power of brain rot and how it affects your thinking. I wanted to draw this because the amount of Pomni and evil Pomni art has been all over the place when I'm brainstorming and doom scrolling, and it's a lot of Sonic parody art and stuff, which I thought is really cool, like Sonic and Shadow. I'm still a massive Sonic fan, which I still embrace. I wanted to do my own Sonic Adventure 2 art of them, so I picked out something that I hadn't seen before. I'm not sure if someone did it, but I haven't seen it yet. The Sonic Adventure 2 battle poses. I'd seen the others done, but not those ones yet. I also severely wanted to practice drawing hands and poses again, which I was pretty good at when I wasn't drawing humans. When I started drawing, my inner Sonic artist awakened again. How could I forget that Sonic fans can draw literally anything but humans? The Digital Circus characters are a goldmine for me. Big hands, funky proportions, very dynamic. Hell, they even have skinny arms and legs like Sonic and Shadow do. They were made for me to draw them. I'd say the hardest part was the fact that Sonic and Shadow have 5 fingers while Pomni only has 4, forcing me to do hand poses slightly differently so the 4 fingers would work in the same pose. I also came up with the idea that I wanted to give evil Pomni a Chaos Emerald, specifically the damn 4th one, which is green. I took a unique twist on it and turned it into a gloink. I thought it would be cute and funny. I wish we could see more of the evil versions, even though they're just NPCs. I gave the characters Sonic hats, a little bit similar to the Pomni Inside Jax plush, which is why I added the eyes and all. I didn't just want it to be them in their poses, so I just added them as a little touch and I wrapped them around just like their jester hats. I also gave them Sonic and Shadow's spike and tail. I am very proud of this piece and how it came out. I didn't know I could draw something like this until I actually did it. I tried to match the fact that Pomni had a big head, I mean huge. They have to scale down her head in certain scenes to match it to other characters so it didn't look stupid. I am a victim of drawing heads too large, so this ended up working out for me. For once, I am not the victim. I also know how to draw rings around the arms because I've drawn Shadow before. A really bad old drawing, but it has been drawn. Enough on the drawn part for now. I'm going to talk about the show. Especially later on, each character is shown in the spotlight for something different. Everyone had their own little scenes. Kinger is a great comforter when he's in the dark. He has spoken to Pomni and Ragatha. Zooble has comforted Gangle in the best way they can, which, by the way, I'd like to mention their ship name is Abstragedy, and I find it really funny. It's a play on abstract for Zooble and tragedy for Gangle. I didn't know their ship names were not their own names and were what they were, and were what they are in the circus. I thought their ship names were their names. Like, for example, there's not really a good example. I guess all of the ship names do sound stupid if you use their actual names. Like, I guess Zooble and Gangle would be Gooble and Zangle. So you know what? Abstragedy at least sounds sick as hell, so. But I didn't know that, because Sonic, it's just Son-Amy. I thought Bunny Doll was someone's name and not Jax X Ragatha, pretty much. I really thought it was someone's name. I'm really stupid. Like online name, I thought it was. I thought it was someone's online name. As I was saying, Pomni is trying to be friends with everyone. I hope she doesn't abstract, but I think Kane might abstract in his very own way, judging from the end credits scene of episode 6. Ragatha seems to have a very shaky past as well. Zubul is trying to figure out what pieces they like best. I think Zubul has body dysphoria. Whether they're trans or non-binary, we may never know. Either way, I support their body goals. Then we have Jax, who I actually hated in the beginning. In the first episode, everyone loved him, then everyone hated him around episode 2. However, I've always hated him since episode 1, except now I've changed that, but I hated him when episode 1 was just out. Only true Jax fans like his bad side and want to torture him. Okay. I started liking him in episode 3 for his energy and evilness. I never liked him because he was kind, which he's not kind. People tend to mischaracterize, and I hate that. Episode 4 was when I was like, yeah, he's his own character. He's definitely his own character. Now, thanks to episode 5 and 6, we get insight on why Jax acts like this. He is pushing everyone away because he's afraid of being hurt again if one of them abstracts. It's nice to know he has a motive for this, but I genuinely thought he was gonna abstract episode 6. But I think everyone thought that. I also genuinely thought, alongside everyone else, that Pomni was gonna shoot herself. I'm glad she didn't and decided to attack Jax instead, because that bunny deserved it. But it was also very, very unexpected, and definitely was better than if Pomni just shot herself. Because if Pomni just shot herself, I think Jax would honestly just brush it off. But since she literally attacked him, he's not brushing it off no more. If there's one thing Jax fans like the most, it has to be torturing him. I'd love to throw him too. My boyfriend has a Jax squish toy from me because of it. He probably uses it for devious acts. Whoopsies. I also like all the fan-made stuff being made about the show, like the music, the fan art. I've been listening to Abstraction, the big band version. It sounds sick as hell. It's crazy how they can actually get the real voice actors for some of the characters. Really cool, really cool. And the video game that someone made, it's a little video game and it's like not that crazy, but there's a free Digital Circus video game, so that's neat. I want to talk about little specifics of the episodes now. So, Jax doesn't like corn because it activates his trypophobia. I used to have trypophobia, so I can kind of see it. It's not really a fear, but more of a sick feeling when I see little clusters of holes or big clusters of holes, any cluster of holes. I was usually triggered when looking at the inside of a beehive where all the honey is kept. Honeycombs, I think. I'd also get triggered during the wintertime. For some reason, there were little holes appearing in the snow, and it made my stomach sick. I do believe it led to the disgust I feel when I see a belly button. So yeah, Jax having a fear of corn, I can understand from trypophobia. It's probably the kernels that set him off all together on that corn. Sounds crazy, I know, but I was triggered by honeycombs, so I can see it. I don't know what made me get over it, but at one point I just subjected myself to constant exposure to it, and my trypophobia is now gone. I really don't know what happened. I thought it was interesting to talk about considering I used to have it, so I pretty much know how to feel it. My parents thought I was crazy, but it was very real. I still have a slight disgust towards belly buttons, though unfortunately I never got over that. Specifically inner ones. F you, trypophobia. If I relate to Jax on one thing, I guess I only relate to Jax on one thing, and it has to be the trypophobia. Why? Since we're on the topic of fears, I also used to have a fear of bugs. Even things as pretty as butterflies, I would scream if they touched me. This is a pretty common fear though. A lot of people freak out when they find a bug crawling on them or on their stuff. I, however, got over my fear of bugs in a rather unique way. I began to take pictures of them, aka constant exposure, like I did the other one, but still. Any bug I found, I snapped a photo, even something as boring as ants and flies. Eventually, I decided to only take pictures of the cool-looking ones. I have some really cool bug pictures, and one of my favorites being a cicada on some wood that I took a picture of. Bugs, I love them now because I've constantly exposed myself, and I've also found that now when a bug lands on me, as long as it's not something crazy like a spider, something that could bite, like a bee or could sting. If it's just a normal bug, I don't freak out anymore. Like if an ant started crawling on me, I'm not screaming and yelling, get it off, get it off. I'm perfectly fine with it. I just kind of watch it and let it do its own thing, and then try and get it off me gently. Like I don't flick it off or anything. And so I guess taking pictures of bugs helped with that. The reason I brought this up is because Kinger has a love for bugs. I can see why he loves them now. I have a friend as well that adores them. I don't hate them anymore, so I feel like I can connect more to the beauty of bugs. I love millipedes now. A lot of them don't bite, or they aren't poisonous or venomous, and there's really nothing to be afraid of. Ragatha being scared of centipedes or millipedes is quite funny though. That would be me screaming if you went a couple years back. But now if I found a millipede on my bed, I don't think I'd really freak out. Centipedes are ugly, but like, at least they don't bite. They usually run away from you. On top of that, the fact that Kinger can just make healing bugs and stuff is quite interesting. Is Kane close to him? Are they working together? I have no idea what's going on with those two. Or is Kinger just like an admin or a hacker, which I doubt, honestly. I think he's working with Kane for something. I'm gonna switch the topic again. We're moving on to ships. I don't ship anyone, unless it's canon, but I do have opinions on certain ships. Call me lame, but I do hate toxic ships, so you ain't gonna be hearing about those. So the recent ship that really blew up with episode 6 is Funny Bunny between Pomni and Jax. Now, I personally am gonna get shot from this, but I don't think they should be together, at least not in the show. Even if Jax truly does care and they apologize, which let's be honest, it's probably not gonna happen, I don't think it's gonna be a good idea. If Jax does apologize, I'm sure they can be friends, and I think they can be good friends. Dating though, I'm gonna have to say no. Although it isn't fully canon, Jax did mention in episode 6 that he thought Pomni was coming on to him. That's probably the closest so far it's gonna be canon. However, Funny Bunny is probably the one not confirmed ship that I do kinda like. I think it's a bad idea for them to be together, but I can see it being cute as long as it's not toxic. I like the cute fan art and the angsty ones, but I don't like anything too dark and, well, toxic. Call me vanilla, call me whatever, I will like what I like, and if you like dark stuff, I won't kill you for it, promise. I do agree, on another note, I do agree with the headcanon that Ragatha is lesbian. I honestly can't see her being with a dude either, but Ragapom seems like a pretty safe, non-toxic ship. Sure, Ragatha tends to exude a lot of toxic positivity, but I think she's getting better, especially after her speech with Kinger. I think Bunny Doll shippers died when episode 5 came out. I didn't even... Well, there is a shipper for everyone, but the Bunny Doll shippers got shot and killed when episode 5 came out. Like, holy... But also episode 6, because episode 6 was the real Bunny Doll killer. But episode 5 at the end, when Jax and Pomni were walking off, that really killed it. There's like so few of them, but I see people ship them sometimes. It's gone down. I don't ship Bunny Doll at all, but I've had some experience with the ship. Why did I think Bunny Doll was someone's name and not the ship? I voice acted the stupid Bunny Doll thing. I mean, it's currently unlisted. I think only 1 or 2 people have access to it right now. I don't want to publicize it, at least not yet. I don't know if I ever will, but if I do, I guess turn notifications on. There's my advertisement of the day. It was really funny and cringy. It was painful though. The most of it was painful. The evil characters, like Evil Jax, Evil Pomni, are pretty much shipped similar to the ship names. I think they literally just call it Evil Funny Bunny or something like that. It's silly. They just put the word evil in front of the name. Now I want to yap about when Jax and Pomni sang Daisy. We know they sang it because Zubul mentioned how Kane sings it in front of her door, We know they sang it because Zubul mentioned how Kane sings it in front of their door, which is ironic considering it's the first song sung by a computer. Jax and Pomni were simply jumping onto that boat, because Zubul mentioned it. I'd like to start and say the voice actors have great, beautiful singing voices. I could even hear Pomni do a little bit of vibrato. Second of all, this song really hits close to home as I was first introduced to it by my lovely friend Carson, who started singing it one day. I knew the song long before Digital Circus and the lyrics too. It's a sweet song and I haven't heard enough about it. You can probably guess them singing it really sparked the shippers. Like, besides the fight, it was the next craziest thing to them. And when I finished the episode, me and my boyfriend ended up singing it at the end of the episode. As I've lived, I have realized I tend to like things that have a rich story. Something I can drown in from how complex it is. Dark, I know. The second thing I really enjoy is psychological horror. I love horror too, but psychological horror really gets my nerves going. It's just the psychological stuff plays with your brain. I think the amazing Digital Circus has a wonderful story that isn't even finished yet. Well, technically it is, but we haven't seen all of it yet. All we know is the voice actors cried at the end. I might cry if it's that good. The circus's rich story really gets me wanting to know more, and I love to make theories about it and everything. I also love when my predictions are very off and something unexpected happens. I haven't cried yet, but maybe my time is coming. Usually I cry when something in the story connects to me. Perhaps something similar has happened to me in a way, and then I cry. Touching scenes are beautiful, but I usually don't cry unless I feel it. I do wonder what's going to happen next, and if we will ever learn about Ribbit, who has been confirmed to be a boy. I can only imagine the insane amount of questions that are never going to get answered. That is the fun of it, though. Keeps you guessing forever. I'm going to talk a little bit about Sonic now. I've been reading the IDW comics, playing the games. The story is pretty good for a kid's game. I still love Sonic. I forgot how much I enjoyed drawing Sonic. I even forgot how much I loved Sonic at one point. But if I look at my collection of Sonic plushies, I change my mind. One of my many hyperfixations that is never gonna die. It is basically that, as long as it keeps going. Because Sonic is just forever going. When drawing this, as I said earlier, they are quite similar, I have noticed. I bet I can draw the entire cast easily because of the amount of times I draw Sonic. I'm just obsessed. Sonic is what got me into rich storytelling. Who knew colorful animals could have a story? Who knew a colorful cast could bring a rich story? If you ignore the brain rot and the bad side of the fandom, you can learn to love anything. Everything has its own little sort of brain rot or bad part of the fandom, but this is the end of my yap session. Thanks if you listened, or simply thanks for just watching me draw if that's what you did. I had to share my love for this show somehow. I've only made one other video on it. Feel free to use these as profile pictures if you ever want to. Just don't steal it without crediting me first, because that's meanie. That's a meanie poo-poo pants. May you enjoy the rest of your day. Mighty out.